So we've come up for a bank holiday weekend. Idea being get quite a lot done, continue working on the pathways, do the start the fencing, got the various things to plant, but the weather is awful and looks like it's going to continue to be awful. So we'll see how much actually gets done. So we've got our strawberry plants definitely beginning to thrive. Onions coming out really nicely. Loads of carrots. Definitely should have made more of an effort placing those a bit more evenly, but looking good other than that though. And then here we can see the beginning of a few peas, which is good. And then one of the things I need to do is just shift this, which should give us a bit of water in there if I can. So that's the greenhouse moved off of here for the moment. So this is actually good because it will give the rain a chance to fill this up a little bit. So we've got good planting weather when we put the chilies and the peppers in. And then we're ready for the tomatoes over there. And yeah, that's really nice progress. So we've got our peppers in and our chilies, so 5 of each, which is looking good. And a bit later I'll move the greenhouse back on, but for the moment I'm going to leave this out just so they can acclimatise a bit and hopefully get a bit more rain on them. We get a little bit of sun right now. I've also moved the rainbow chili into box 4 with the onions and carrots because I didn't have any garlic to fill that third, so there is a bit of space there. It is perennial, so I might dig it up once it gets a bit bigger and put it into a large pot for ease of move. So the last thing we've got to do now is get these tomatoes in, which, given how leggy they are, we're going to plant quite deep. And that's the tomatoes in. So 6 tomato plants should give me a good amount as they grow. 6 strawberries, also good. Plenty of peas and things in here. And broad beans. Spring onions and broccoli. See how they go. This one's fallow. This is my chili and peppers. This will be the 3 sisters. And then carrots, onions and rainbow chili. So pretty well stocked up. And that's our greenhouse sorted. I might just pop one of these up so there's a bit more airflow. Still should keep it fairly warm, but that way they shouldn't cook. It'll need watering tomorrow probably, but yeah, all of this is looking good. Hey buddy! As we're expecting rain, I've just taken a couple of the panels off the top so that this can get watered properly. And then, we saw these yesterday, so they're okay, but you can see the tomatoes are a little shell shocked by the move. So I've got to hope they do okay. And I'm starting. And that's step 1 of the 3 sisters done. The peas are in. So they get a couple of weeks on their own before we plant some friends. And tucked away here we have our mint pots, which are, from the look of it, growing a bit crazy. So I might shift these along just so they're visible. into the fallow slash incompleted, just so there's a bit of boxing in. That might also be where this guy moves if I need to. So a quick Sunday review of the grow boxes, and definitely a mixed bag. A couple of them definitely wilting a bit but looking okay, but these guys are struggling. So we'll have to see how that goes. But the strawberries have been loving the rain. Look at this, coming right up. And then these guys also doing pretty well in the transplanting. You can see there's some small damage there to the roots, but not the roots, the leaves, but progressing. So yeah, we'll see how they survive for a week. And here we have our framed and lockable gate. So we've got the slider that came in that Glen Garden were incredibly helpful to provide. There we go. So that comes out, and then the door works, and then this just keeps them sealed. It's not as straight as it could be, just due to the fact that none of this gate is as straight as it could be. But otherwise, we're in a reasonable state to continue. So with the framing in, we can put the chicken wire down. Although I do want to hammer these in a little bit more before we do that. So that's something to do shortly. It turns out one of the birds around is a woodpecker. Which, to be fair, I knew because you could hear it, but I didn't think that he would be going to town on a potential home. Maybe he's after whoever's in there. Look at how reflective and clean the pond is now. I'm not entirely sure it's the best plan to be drinking from it, but given what else he's been drinking from today, it's probably fine. And then you can see just here, one of our older apple trees is beginning to flower. So this one, I really trimmed this one back, so hopefully we'll get a bit more strength and a bit more interesting apple growth. We'll see. The grill house area is beginning to pick up its life and sort of show why I liked it so much. So it also helps give us a idea of where we'll need to trim back over there a little bit. But you can see it's going to be really nice with views out all around, nicely protected from the wind and things. I'm wondering about power, if I just run an outdoor electrical cable from the caravan up. And then, you know, I've got enough USB lighting and and then maybe a small rechargeable battery this side that could keep things going. What do you think? Good grill house plan, buddy? You don't care. And I've started edging this pathway, so just grabbing some random branches that are a good width and thickness, and just use the articulating saw to just take some of the rough corners off and just slowly build this up. There's no rush on this, it's just a side job, and I'll do similar with the one to the grill house, just so we got a bit of beauty brought in, not just the functionality. The weather is marginally less terrible, so we're going to do a few plant related things. Firstly, we have some white clover to scatter around from lindblums, so we'll rake up this ground a little bit and try and get clover going all down this middle. Long term, we're also going to be planting some permaculture stuff down the middle, so some berries and things to help keep the soil doing well. And we've got some I forget the name of it. Yeah, something that's going to be planted with the trees. I'll have to remind myself on the name, that is due to be coming back. You helping, buddy? And that's all of that scattered. It's obviously not super visible from here, but you can kind of see them on there. So I might give a bit of a rake around a little, and so fast at digging. The holes just appear, aren't you? Hey, aren't you trouble? And then our brief orchard tour. So we've lost some of the leaves in the wind, but the top's looking pretty healthy. It's pretty low on the bottom, but a lot of growth down there, which is good. This continues to impress. I mean, look at that, the sweet cherries are doing amazing. This way, buddy. Come on. And then, not quite as good as the other, but okay. Probably need to do a bit of weeding down there. This guy's looking alright. That's coming out nicely in flowers, or in leaves. That's doing okay. This one's doing pretty nice. These two are looking alright. That's looking healthy and strong. And then our apple tree, the leaves are all looking a bit curled, so not the best, but seems to be okay. It's obviously much too early for anything to be showing from our clover planting, but maybe we'll see some seeds next week. This apple tree, despite being crushed, is looking fantastic. Much better than the other one. We've got some really nice flowers beginning to come out. And the pear tree as well, looking lovely. Not as strong, but not too bad. Some really nice flowers there as well. This guy's definitely a mix. We've got a couple of very weak branches, like this one, where we've got a couple of buds, but then this is generally looking strong. And then finally, a lot of stripped leaves. I wonder if this is a animal problem. I'm going to have to look that up. Are we losing leaves to some of the deer that come round? And then this tree is beginning to bush out as well, so this kind of marks the end of the orchard, if you like. And then we've got a lot of saplings beginning to come up there, so what I want to do is just let that reclaim going forward, so that will be a nice shield from the road. Then we've got the orchard. We've got a lot of these coming up from the roots of some of the chopped down trees, which will be good. And then that green space, or that brown space rather, as we've talked about, becomes sort of a permaculture berry centre point. But not until autumn, because I missed the planting window. But that's fine. And here is just the lightly tapped in fence post going down. I think that looks great. Just lined along the string. So we've got enough to basically do all the rear, and then we need at least another 20, probably 30 or 40 to do the rest. So Won't be done this weekend, but if we can hammer these in and get the chicken wire down, we'll have a really good test that this fence is okay. Although with the speed he digs, might all be a bit pointless. Could have a great escape moment going on, couldn't we? And that's them hammered in. These do a little bit of work to even them out slightly, as the ground's not super even and definitely super tough, but to be honest it should be good enough. Just need to get the framing done there and down the bottom, and that's in a good state. And then he's continuing with his digging. Are you helping, buddy? Are you helping or hurting? You're helping or hurting the planning? This feels like hurting. Why? Why? Merlin? Why? It's been super rainy and also a work day, so not a lot done except for in the last hour or so, but put in the fence posts along here. They also probably need a second go of hammering them home, but that takes this corner in, so we've got the wire down there to just fill in the edges tomorrow or Sunday depending, and then we've got enough to do this back corner as well quite comfortably. And I need to finish the framing, so the two over there, they just need trimming and then nailing in, and then 4 at the bottom need putting down. Only problem is the weather is so inconsistent right now. Like, it's relatively sunny at the moment, but any minute it's going to rain again, so it's not really power tool weather, which is a bit annoying because it won't take me long to do the framing, but equally don't want to be using a power tool that suddenly goes torrential. What do you think, buddy? You won't be able to do that soon. You'll be stuck this side. Well, it's not great, but it's a start. I think I might try a different, tougher set of wire when this one runs out, because the chicken wire here is a bit mediocre. Like, it's quite saggy, but not too bad. And maybe I'm going to pin down. So what I've done probably would have helped to not have this thing along the bottom, but by doing that it makes it a lot harder for the dog to dig his way out. So if he's going to try, he'll do it by the fence edge, and he's got the wire there, so it's planned that way. So it's looking a little bit better now we're on the straighter connection pieces. So maybe we can do a bit of tidy up of that later on. I'm thinking I might need a few fence post thingies like I use for the ground cover, to just pull the bottom bits a little bit taut, just stake it in a little bit. But yeah, this is not too bad actually. We'll see how it goes. We've been ducking in and out because of the rain. It comes down probably 40 minutes out of the hour, but we're making good progress. So the fence is going all the way down along to the gate, which is looking great. Got a couple more to attach up there, and then we'll see how much we can get down. So we've got to lay the fence post and get down to the bottom, but that's good progress. It is really starting to rain heavily again, and so I'm going to go inside, but you can see I've had to kind of back up and retighten here, pull stuff in, because the slope makes things a little bit awkward. But what is quite nice and was unplanned is the grill house, and I've started putting down some of the wood edge framing the grill house can then essentially have a pathway along the other side of this to the gate. So I don't know if I'll wood chip that, but it's at least walkable if I keep it trimmed. But yeah, time to go inside. This way, buddy. And the rain's coming again, but we've got these sunk now. I've got 2 remaining, so pack up the bits, see if the rain genuinely stops. There we go. All the fencing that I have material for, so it goes all the way up and around the back, all the way around and through. Merlin's making the most of being able to get out of the bottom half, having fully escaped, and sitting there on his long line. But that looks great. I'm super happy with that. It's not the best fence in the world, but I've already had birds sitting on the fence line, and yeah, quite a lot more to do to fully finish, but other than those bits, main thing is getting the stakes to make sure that bottom is fully secured. Maybe even getting some soil to go over the top. But yeah, really good progress.